everybody, my name is Manish and you are welcome to our channel Genius Prep. So in this video, we are going to learn about the number properties. So every time when you think about the number properties, you always come up with the questions like why natural numbers called natural numbers, why whole numbers called the whole numbers. So today I'm going to give you the explanation of why these number called the natural number, why these number called the whole numbers, and etc. So in this video we will be covering all the related number system like natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, and odd and even, complex number, and composite numbers, etc. Okay, so let's get started. But before we begin, just do not forget to press on the bell icon and subscribe our channels. So let's start. Okay, so first of all, let's start with the number system. So whenever I ask you just start counting, so you always start with counting 1 2 3 4 5, or you ask to someone start counting, everybody start counting with the number 1 2 3 4 5. So that is why, like, every time whenever you start, we start with the number 1. So all the numbers from 1 to infinity are called natural number because it comes naturally. This is one of the simplest way to learn about why we call the natural number, what numbers are natural numbers. So because whenever you start counting, it comes naturally. So you can, by this you can say all the numbers from 1 to infinity are natural numbers. Okay, so but what happens when you have number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9? After 9 we are missing something. Okay, so that's why we have number 0. So when you put number 0 here, okay, so all the numbers, take any big numbers, like suppose you are taking 2 5 7 6 7 0 3, all the number from the whole number system are coming from these numbers. Okay, so it covers the whole system. So that's why when we include 0 in our natural number, that the whole series becomes the whole numbers. Okay, so whole number starts from where? 0, because it's completing the system. And what is the natural number? Because it starts from the 1, we are saying it simple, because we are saying it naturally, is starting our counting from number 1. Okay, so let's start with another topic, that is integers. Okay, so let's talk. Okay, suppose today you gave me 2 rupees, okay, or $2, and after 3 days I gave you back $2. Okay, but when I need to write down in my notebook, so what will I write? 2 or 2? How do I know whether I got this number, or I got this dollars, or I gave this dollars? So that's why we started using symbols in our number system. So those symbols are positive and negative. So we can say when you gave me $2, so I can say it is coming towards me. So for me it is +2. Okay, and when after 3 days I gave it to you, so it becomes -2 because I am giving that to you. So we can say, if we draw the number line from -infinity to +infinity, okay, 0 1 2 3, okay, -1 -2. Okay, so all the number from +infinity to -infinity are called integers, which includes only these numbers. Okay, so all the numbers, whether it is negative or positive, are called the integers because we are using symbols in the numbers. Okay, now next question come. Next topic is prime numbers. Okay, so for prime numbers, there are 2 definitions. Okay, I will tell you both of them, and then you can decide which one is simpler for you and which one you want to go with. Okay, so first definition is a number which has only 2 factors. Okay, what does it mean? Suppose there is a number 3. Okay, if you talk about the factors, what will be the factor of 3? Factor will be 1 and 3. Does it have any other factor? No, it doesn't have any other factor. So that's why number will call a prime number which has only 2 factors, not more than 2, not less than 2. So if you have 2 factors, that is called prime number. Okay, so if you are feeling hard to learn about this definition is hard for you, you can go with the second definition, which is, okay, the number which can be divided by itself or with number 1 without a reminder. Okay, it is a kind of same definition, but is in a different way of presentations. Like, okay, so what it says, suppose there is a number 3. Okay, a number which can be divided by itself. It can be divided by itself, yes, or with number 1, or it can also divided by number 1 without a reminder. Okay, so that's why again we can say it has only 2 factors and we are not getting any reminder, so it is called a prime numbers. Okay, so let's have what numbers are prime numbers. So start with number 2. 2 is a prime number. Yes, 2 is a prime number. 3, 5, 7, 9, no 9, and then 11, 13. These numbers are called the prime numbers because they have only 2 factors. Okay, now the interesting question, interesting thing to know over here, 2 is the only prime number which is even. Okay, all other even numbers are not prime numbers. Only 2 is the only number which is even and prime numbers. Okay, what about the number 1? Okay, number 1 I will tell you, but first we need to learn about the composite numbers. Okay, so now fifth number is composite number. What is composite number? You can say all the numbers which are not prime numbers are composite number. Yes, yet it is right. Okay, but it has a trick in that I will tell you. Okay, so the number which has more than 2 factor, this is the definition of composite number. Okay, that is also called a composite number. So what does it mean? It means suppose we have number 4. Okay, so number 4, what are the factors of number 4? 1, 2, 4 itself. So what does it mean? It has 3 factors. Okay, so which is more than 2. So it is not a prime number, but it has 3. So that means it is a composite number. So also the interesting fact about the number 4, this is the first composite number. Okay, so like suppose if you have a number 8, what is the what are the factors? 1, 2, 4, 8. These are the factors. So that's why it is called a composite number. Okay, so now what about the number 1? What about the number 1? Number 1 is a composite number or number is a prime number? What do you think? Number 1 is neither a composite number nor a prime number. Why? Because it can be divided by itself, yes, and it is divided by itself only, and it has factor only 1 factor. So what is the definition of prime number? Prime number should have 2 factors, and what is a composite number? It should have more than 2 factors. So it is coming in none of the definition. So that's why 1 is not a prime number nor a composite number. Here is a one fact that we should know. Generally, when we are doing question that concerns divisibility, you should always focus on the prime factorization. What does it mean? It means that if you see the question, it is just wording of question. 2 is a factor of 12. So you can see if 2 is a factor of 12. 2 is a divisible of 12. 12 is a multiple of 2, right? 12 is divisible by 2. Okay, so whenever you see any question related to divisibility, always do factorization. And remember one one rule: if B is a factor of A and C is a factor of B, then C will be the factor of A. What does it mean? Okay, like suppose you have 12. 4 is a factor of 12. Okay, and when we go with 4, 2 is a factor of 4. So 2 is always will be the factor of 12. Okay, so always remember this relationship. If A is a factor, B is a factor of A, and C is a factor of B, then A and C will be the factor of A. Okay, now next is odd and even number. What is odd and even numbers? You already know about the odd and even, so I will not discuss much about this, but let's discuss what are the odd and even numbers. All the numbers which can be divided 2 and which can be divided by 2 is called odd numbers. Or called odd numbers. Okay, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. These are the odd number or even numbers. Okay, now what is the odd numbers? All the numbers which are not divided by 2 are called odd numbers. So 1, 3, 5, 7, etc. Okay, so this is a, I think it's simple. Now seventh, now next is rational numbers. What are the rational numbers? Okay, so rational numbers is actually most of the all the numbers you see are, most of them are rational numbers. Why? Because this is definition of rational number, which says the number which can be written as a fraction of p by q where q is not equal to 0. What does it mean? We can be write any number, if we can write any number in p by q form where q is not equal to 0. Okay, so those numbers called the rational numbers. So like suppose you have number 3. Is it a rational number or not? Yes, it is a rational number. Why? Because we can write 3 in the form of like this, 3 by 1, and this is not equal to 0. Okay, so that is called 3 is a rational number. And what about 5 by 9? It is a rational number. Yes, it is a rational numbers. It is a rational number. Okay, and any number like 2, 4, or any number you see which you can write in a p by q form and their q is not equal to 0. Another definition of rational number is rational number which can be write down in this form. Also, it is non-terminating but repetitive. Okay, what does it mean? Suppose there is a number 10 by 3. When you do the calculation, you will see 0.333 and etc. So what is happening? It is non-terminating but repetitive. Okay, so all the numbers which are non-terminating and repetitive are called rational numbers. Similar with the 2 by 9, it is like 2 point, okay, and 2 and 2 and 2 and etc. So it is non-terminating but repetitive. So those numbers called the rational number. And so what are the irrational numbers? Now irrational numbers, it is just opposite to the rational numbers. You can say all the numbers which are not rational numbers are called irrational numbers, right? Yes, we can say this. That definition is also correct. But another definition of this is number that are non-terminating and non-repetitive. What does it mean? In the rational numbers, we need that thing, the number which are non-terminating but repetitive. Okay, here it should not be non-repetitive. There should not be any pattern. Okay, so what is the best example of this? The best of the example of this can be a pi. You know the pi value of pi. Okay, generally we use 222 by 7, okay, or 3.14. This is not the exact value of pi. This is the approximate value of pi which we do for our calculation. But when you see the whole value of pi, okay, you will see it is non-terminating. It is going up to infinity, but there is no pattern you are seeing, and there is no repetition of any kind of number, any kind of pattern. So that's why pi is the irrational number. Similar way, all the numbers like root 2, root 3, root 5, these numbers are non-terminating and non-repetitive. Okay, so that's why these all numbers called the irrational numbers. I hope you understand the difference between rational numbers and the irrational numbers. Now the last is real numbers. What are the real numbers? So that simple definition of real numbers, or simple way of learn about the real numbers. All the numbers which include rational numbers and irrational numbers called real numbers. That's it. Real numbers includes everything. It includes minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, all the numbers, whether those are integers, those are composite, everything comes from the real number. So now question arises, are all the rational numbers are real numbers, or all the real numbers are the rational numbers? So answer is all the rational numbers are real numbers because it comes from the real number, but not all the real numbers are rational numbers. Why? Because real numbers also include the irrational numbers. Similarly, all the natural numbers, okay, are whole number, okay, but not all whole numbers are natural number. Why? Because whole numbers also include 0. So that's why the whole number are not all the whole
Guys,
numbers
I
are
hope you learn a
legitimate.
lot in this particular in this particular video, and you got the clear idea about the different kind of numbers. If you still have any doubt, you can just comment on my YouTube video, and we will get back to you. And please do not forget to like this video and subscribe our channel and click on the bell icon. In the next video, I will be taking some questions related to the number system. So just tune in and watch our video. Bye.